submission. So that will help us to evaluate your final submission part. As you know, there is project 1, which is done with me, project 2, which is done with me. This is project 3 or final project, which is 40% of your marks. Wait, so you need to understand that. Kylan, just 1 minute. You need to come on the screen.
Yeah, I am on the screen.
No, I don't see you. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, the video has to be 10 minutes long.
Minimum there, right? Less than 10 minutes is more better there, okay?
I don't think we can actually extend it to 10 minutes. There's not enough to talk about.
It's okay, right? Less than that also can, right? Okay?
Oh, okay.
As long as you don't actually speak a little bit kind of quickly when it comes to present those works.
Yeah. So basically you have to produce the slide presentation, and throughout the slide presentation, you have to present your work. And then you have to videotape it yourself, you record it yourself while you presented the work, what you have done in week 9, how you approach the software, what are your limitations that you encounter in week 9 at the beginning of the semester, or sorry, end of the semester, what you encounter, how to use the software, what are your limitations, what are your expectations. These things you have to state it in your video while introducing your work. And of course, you need to submit this through Mr. Faisal and me for the final evaluation. I have done my evaluation for project 1 and 2. Most of you has gotten so far quite good results. So as you know, this is the 30% of the final marks, and you have to be aware how you're going to be evaluated. So we are looking for your to agree upon something. Would you agree to produce a video?
Yeah. You guys, okay. The other thing that I actually, right, when Mr. Ernest raised this kind of question to me there, okay, you have to remember one thing, right? Okay? In design kind of world, right, basically most of the time we have to improvise some of the certain kind of situations or project kind of process there according to the needs to add more values there. To add more values on our what we call that final output or our complete kind of progression of our final works, right? So the modifications, the improvisations that happens along the way in the process basically is good for us there, okay? And I'm not actually asking for you guys, okay, basically to add another kind of visual kind of works there, whatever that you guys been working on right now, that according to our plan, okay, because like I said before there, okay, even though when I stated to our plan there, okay, we have 2 different kind of models there, but I want to see also your progress at the same time, because each one of us have the individual kind of strength that we can develop along the way. Okay, we are not actually focusing only, for example, okay, I always, okay, take a look at like Teresa kind of progress and some of you guys at the same time that, but I cannot basically put the position of individuals. Everyone has to be like someone from your classes there, okay? We can actually learn also from each other, but at the same time, you need to know also your strength in order to develop your kind of skill in the process of learning. So that means, okay, another thing that I can find from what actually have seen from your presentation or your kind of submissions there, right? All the adding kind of values that we want to request for the student, normally because we want to add more kind of marks, that's all there, okay? Because around the 40%, if you take a look back again to your process of working, not only from our evaluation there, guys, okay, from your own self kind of development there, you think that you can actually add, you can actually get a full 40% mark, or maybe 39 or 38 kind of percent of marks, okay, in order to submit those kind of works there, right? If you can't basically, okay, this is something that I saw each time basically we actually look at the student work there. If you cannot put that times there, because we never know basically what basically you have in mind, but professionally basically, if you don't care about what you've been working on personally at your own kind of situations, we want to know basically you guys can submit or not your work, all right? But I actually know that, okay, we actually have what we call that, have this kind of experience with the students, okay? with this kind of all this kind of situation that we cannot give all this kind of reason to develop basically our learning experience, but we know basically all the challenges that you guys have. Okay, we cannot be in F to F kind of situations, and we cannot actually nurture you guys, okay, during that kind of face-to-face kind of what we call that learning experience there. So we kind of give you guys whatever that you need during the sessions, and then it's actually up to you guys whether you want to communicate with us more, because we have the online kind of what we call that platform that we have here, or not there, okay? So we kind of treat you guys not like kids anymore, but it's a teen adult kind of situation that you guys have your own kind of uh, mind basically, right, okay, to develop also to create your own interest on what you've learned there. Okay, so all this kind of adding kind of values on your kind of submissions, basically it's not for us only there, right? Okay, I can actually write doing all kind of easiest kind of way of evaluations, whatever that I'm looking at what you have submit, I can give the mark straight away today or maybe next week, because as I told you guys before, I need to complete the whole thing basically as soon as possible, because if I want to talk about all situations, I'm also have Mr. Ernest also have a certain kind of situation that we need to submit earlier. And for me as a new kind of lecturers who actually want to adapt the new system basically, okay, I have to go through with all the systems that is quite new for me there, okay, to adapt the kind of citrics, right, submissions not only for your subjects, but your subject basically, I have Mr. Ernest to help me. But the other subject that I actually handle there, okay, it's like animation subjects at the same time, okay. But one of these requests that I find quite practical is basically the okay, because we are not actually a big group there. At the moment, I saw around 7 or 8 people active in our groups, right? Even though we have 12 people, right, okay, basically 10 people basically have active normally, right, in a normal kind of norm, right, okay, but 7 people who actually I find out quite give more kind of commitment on their works, right, okay, on your works, right? So that's why I think if you don't want to waste those kind of 40 weeks to do nothing there, okay, because the attendance still has to be taken at that time there, okay. So we can actually go into this kind of very simple kind of presentations there, because from what I've saw from your blogs, from your what we call that submissions, okay, on the methods that on the slide kind of presentations that Mr. N actually have given us, okay, to use as a guide, you don't have to do a double job, right? Only record that kind of sessions only according to what you have produced. But if you have adding another kind of models, for example, the new kind of models there, you can actually just add into the new page directly and then submit them back and present it at the same time directly. It's simple kind of what we call that methods that works. So, but if you guys think it's possible, we go for it, okay? Because it's a very good for you guys, okay, to have this kind of experience at the same time, right? And you can add also, okay, your video presentation at your blog. And the first thing, okay, a lot of people always thought, okay, they're quite shy to present their works there. Okay, we are not train you guys to become a workers only there, okay? For people who do the job and then keep quiet and let other people control your kind of what we call that freedom of creations there, okay? We want you guys to become a leader at the same time, okay? Everyone have been trained when you come into uni there, okay? Been trained to become your own leaders there in your own kind of way there, okay? This is one of the process that we need to be experienced there. Each one of the students there. If you look at me or Mr. Ernest, okay, if I'm checking look at me, okay, I'm not actually okay. I'm actually also quite introvert kind of students when I was young there, okay. But along the way there, okay, we kind of practice ourselves, okay. Everyone have their kind of what we call that some nervous basic kind of situations there, right? People have this kind of like worry about what people will think about their face when they present, okay. All those kind of things, all right, it's a part of experience, the guys, okay. uh, when you say maybe you're not actually good fluent in English, it's okay. Just talk slowly according to what you can to explain your work. Simple there, right? We don't have to be more protocol there, okay, to talk about all this kind of what we call that English, okay, to explain about your work. Just explain what you know about your works, okay? Generally, that's all. And we want to see how you present. That's other things, okay? Because this is a very good kind of experience for you guys. I believe on that. What do you guys think about it? Guys?
Lavandir, what do you think?
What do you think about
Will
it?
there be a brief for this?
Yeah, I'm going
Like
to
the
give a bit kind of, a very simple brief for it, right? Okay. So for you guys to get, okay, what you can say, what you expect to show basically on the works there. But generally, when I actually explain, you understand, right? How it works? Easy there, right? But why you face is so nervous there?
Actually,
Yeah, Kailan? Kailan, yes?
oh, nothing.
Yeah. So when I see Kailan kind of what we call that voices, okay, I can see he's have a very good deep kind of voices there. Right. So this kind of things is other than you learning about the skills, learning also about your presentation skills. Lavender, okay, you look a little bit kind of nervous right now, right? Xiao Hida, right? Lavender, is it?
Trisa.
Trisa. Is it?
Trisa.
This is Trisa, right?
Yeah.
Trisa.
Trisa is very serious today. Why, Trisa?
Yeah, why?
It's just my natural face.
No, I don't think so. You smile.
Yeah.
You have a cheeky smile sometimes.
Yeah. Be relaxed, guys. Relax there, right? Okay. It's a process of learning here, right? Don't worry there.
Okay, I'm going to take the attendance. I'm going to flash, Mr. Faisal, can I flash the attendance for the students to take? Okay, so I'm going to flash the attendance. Just give me 1 minute. Key in your attendance as, let me find, what is the, okay, here. Okay, number 1. Number 2, I think. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Please key in your attendance.
Sir,
Yes.
can I turn off my camera for a while? It's getting a bit overheated.
Okay.
Yeah, can, right? No problem.
Thank you.
But even though you open up just now, there, okay, we cannot see we cannot see you in the camera there, right, Thailand?
I can see him.
Oh, you can see, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I cannot see him there just now. It's okay.
Mr. Faisal, how many in class today?
Today we have around, wait up. Oh, I can dismiss this one there. I think around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 who active right now, okay? Harsh is not here yet, right? Harsh is here? 11 is
yes,
here, right?
Harsh is here. Yeah. Miriam, Miriam is here.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11 minus 2.
Yeah, 11 there.
11 minus you and I.
Yeah, minus me and you there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 there, yes.
So there are 13 in camera right now.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I have one missing in on the attendance. Who has not keyed in the attendance? Because I have only 10 attendees.
Claire, you hear that, right, Claire? Because you messaged me earlier that you have something to do just now. Claire, are you here? Oh.
Yeah, she's here.
Okay, good.
Okay, 11. Thank you. I'm going to close. Okay, Mr. Faisal, you can continue with your class.
Okay.
Please decide what if you agree or no on what Mr. Faisal has suggested, the final submission, before end of the class. Okay. you need to agree upon or disagree on Mr. Faisal's proposal before end of the class. So we will not have any mistake, and I don't want to hear any complaint that the students were asked to do something that is not in the project brief or is presented in different way. So please, okay, we would like to have your agreement or no. If it's not, never mind, don't worry. We will understand. If you want to present, and I think it's a good exercise for you to, to get used to, because next year when you go to the degree, basically all your assignment will be presentations.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, all presentations. Presentation will have a high. Let me finish, Kailan. Presentations during your assignments will have a high weightage. Okay.
Okay, guys.
Okay, so will Kailan? Yes. What would you say?
Are all of them requiring presentations?
No. It's just the final class, the final submission with Mr. Faisal.
Oh, okay.
The first one, second one, project one, and project two, I have already marked. As I mentioned, all of you has achieved quite good grades, based on your submission. So you shouldn't be worried. Lavender, would you agree or disagree? Claire, Hash, Che-Ing, Teresa, Tung-Hui, Miriam, yes or no? Put your thumbs up. Because
this is not something that actually we put a gun on your head there, guys. Remember that, guy? Okay, we not actually put the gun on your head there, right? So this is quite a very open discussion there, okay? Just to add values there, okay? Yeah, like Mr. Ennis say, okay, we don't want to have a complaint all these kind of small things there. Basically, whatever that we do, we're responsible to make sure that students have a kind of experience there, especially in the online session there, guys. We cannot see you guys, each other's there, right? You guys just see me maybe once in a week only there, okay? Maybe one or two of you guys kind of like what we call that communicate with me, okay, or to the lesson itself there is very good there. I quite happy because the problem is what the thing is also that we face basically when it comes to online session, we always worry that why student actually doesn't communicate with us, right? Okay, ask us a few kind of questions there, right? Okay, just like that, they either doesn't know what to ask, or maybe they actually know what basically they were doing there, or maybe they don't care, okay, what happens, okay, for their developments, okay. So those are things is quite basically always have in our mind, okay, because we're not actually here only for, because if you're not actually want to open up our kind of discussions here, for some of the reason, okay, that I actually look into some of the people actually, what we call that have thought also this kind of what we call that online situation, okay, but some of the lecturers, okay, they won't be able to entertain you guys, okay, 24/7 there. I'm recording the session at the same time, right, to explain back again whether hopefully you guys will understand basically our stand in our education kind of system there, okay? Because yes, okay, if you whatever that we actually put in the brief basically is a guideline for us, right? When it comes to work with your client in the future, also is a guideline, but if you work with the real kind of work with the client, okay, they always have some sort of improvisations there, modifications there, okay, according to this to the needs there. For example, like this PKP MCO kind of situations there, right? Nobody actually planned basically we need to do this kind of online session there. Nobody planned there, okay. But if we just stick into the same plan, for example, there, right? Okay, even though we have MCO, our government say, okay, everyone can do whatever they want, okay, or maybe it's on your risk there, okay. We might say, okay, people will open up the university, but the circumstances there, right? If you not actually change the situation there, okay, to make online session, okay, the circumstances, the risk that people always going to have are going to be a bit kind of impossible later on to what we call that, to save all these kind of people anymore there, okay. So that's why, okay, we give these kind of suggestions because we want to open up back again to your needs there, whether you really want it or not, okay, or if you don't want to, it's okay there, okay. We just actually give the marks from there, because I want, as I actually have told you guys, week 13, basically, I want to give the mark there, okay? But you're going to extend to week 14 because we still have the attendance to take there, right? Yes, we have to do something actually can add more values from there. Those are the things. And based from what I saw from your submissions there, okay, for this week, week 12, that actually we work with 11, right, okay? Not all of you guys have submitted well there. Okay, I saw some of the works from, okay, let me share my screen there first. Okay, let me share my screen. All right. Okay, if you take a look at this week 12, okay, so this is the last week kind of progress from Sunday, right? Okay, so if you take a look back on the presentations here, okay, according to the what we need, okay, so this is something that she actually have done entirely from last week. Okay? Some of the progress, some of the developments there, some of the improvisations, right, okay, on the model itself. Okay, we can see the progress from here. So it's very huge kind of achievement basically for the newcomers. Okay, for the newbies basically have developed this kind of type of work there, other than what we have from uh, Teresa there, right? Okay, about her works. Okay, she actually explored a bit more earlier than this, okay, to develop uh, her kind of models there. And I would say maybe this week, maybe after this, right, okay, before she submit basically the final works, she can actually develop a little bit more like what I've shown you guys, okay, previously. Okay, we add some sort of like limbs, a bit, right, okay, and the leg itself, okay, just to complete the models there, right? So those are the things that we want to see the progress there, okay, the progression on your works here, right? Okay? So if you have more kind of what we call that, okay, this is around 8 people actually have submit, right? So we want to, because we actually have a very small group of people right here. So yeah, it's basically are going to be more kind of what we call that achievement for us to see, okay, we can go through slowly back again what students have done, okay, on their kind of development kind of works there, okay, what they have to try there, okay, try to work on those kind of developments here. So that kind of thing basically is really important there, guys, okay, and we know basically the level of understanding and also skills that student has provide there, okay, according to the lessons here, right? So it's good, right? Like Thailand right now, okay, the first attempt, the model that he tried to create basically from these applications is very rough and also very raw there. Okay, now he's getting very little bit more detailing there. Okay, on the design on the helmets there, right? And he tried also to adapt, understanding to draw the faces correctly, even though he can also add more and more details from here there. Okay, and of course, okay, he tried to draw another kind of body sculpting there, okay, body sculptings with the head there, okay. Maybe this is some kind of aliens there, okay. So all these kind of things that we saw, okay, from your developments, okay, it will give kind of a good kind of progression there, because before actually I teach this subject, okay, I saw also some of the presentation on some of the works from previous students there, okay. When you're not actually doing enough kind of exploration, right? For me, there, okay, this is only my kind of what we call that. Kylan just now, actually, right? Okay, become a guest there. Okay, so if you just produce,
Sir, my
yes.
internet connection's a bit
Oh, okay, okay,
unstable
don't worry.
right now.
Okay,
So
okay. So what we can see there,
sorry.
okay, from your progression, that people want to see progression there, guys. Okay, people just want to see the finished work only. Okay, what you guys learn, what you guys explore there, okay. Especially as a student, kind of progress. Remember that, right? Student kind of progress there. Even though you go into social media there, okay, if you look at the art kind of situation scene there, okay, that people actually have posts. Who is it? Oh, internet connection there, right? So that means, okay, we people want to see your progressions there, what you guys have been working on before that. What are the things that will give a bit kind of attentions on people see your kind of improvements there. Okay, those are the things it really matters there. This one is from Pang there, right? This is the last week kind of hooks there, Pang. Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
week 11,
Week
right?
11 there, right? Okay. Do you have done anything for this week before you came to this
Yep.
session?
I have something for this
Okay.
week.
Okay, thank you there. Okay. So all these kind of things, okay, if we can actually look into back again what you guys have done there, okay, it gives more kind of, yeah, we know basically, right, you have to go through with the lessons there. Let me check back again. Mariam,
Yes.
okay. Have you submit anything from last week or this week kind of submission? You have done anything there from your kind of exercise that you did?
It's there.
Hmm?
It's there. My name is there.
Sorry, I can hear you there.
My name is there. I've submitted last week.
Which one?
Pushpa.
This, oh, this one there. Okay, sorry there. Right. Okay. Did you get Mr. Ernest kind of templates to present the works there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I only saw it after I submitted it, so
Okay.
I'll do it for this week.
Okay, good, good. Okay.
Well, that's very nice.
Yeah. It's a good kind of explorations, okay, a bit on the details there, you see on the jaw itself there, right? Okay. But yeah, even though if you check, okay, if you basically develop a model like a human character, so even though in alien, okay, the alignment between the eyes and so the ears has to be a bit kind of above a little bit, okay. So those are the kind of basics proportion that you have to understand there. Okay? Otherwise, the proportion going to look a bit kind of weird there, especially on the faces there first. Huh?
Yeah, it's this.
Same goes to Pang just now there, right? Okay. Okay, be careful with it. Even though if you take a look at the some of the tribal when I go to Indonesia there, okay, and also Thailand, okay, to see some of the collections of the mass and tribals, some of the ethnic kind of what we call that cultures, kind of what we call that materials there, right? We can see that 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 all kind of folks basically who have modeled all this kind of mass basically, okay, or the model is that okay, they actually kind of have the very simplification and stylized kind of look and feels there, okay. And I also believe that okay, each individual who came from other kind of region that okay, they have their own kind of identity to develop the inside of their cultures, okay, within to produce their kind of works. That when they produce the works, okay, they show basically some inner kind of understanding or spontaneous kind of deep on their culture itself there. Okay, you bring your cultures together there. Right? Okay, this is basically what I believe, but we don't know that. Okay, sometimes basically you have a certain kind of confusion when you actually write model them there. Okay, but the way that we look at some people actually have done, like Pang for example. Okay, I kind of look that basically it came from your own cultures there. Okay, your own kind of heritage there. Okay, that build on those kind of what we call that kind of what we call that look and feels there of your own traditions there, okay. But we never know, okay. If you say it's not basically, yeah, I believe there's a lot of things can be improved, and that's why I give also some of the examples For example, like this one there, okay, it's a bit more like a very ethnic, right? Like Paleolithic, you know, okay, like a very Stone Age kind of characters of this. What we call that faces there, okay, like Stone Age, you know, okay, kind of peoples there. But maybe subconsciously or maybe spontaneously done because the knowledge of understanding on the human proportion is not there yet. Okay, maybe there, okay. But for those who actually can draw well, who have that kind of understanding, easy for you guys to model that according to your own kind of understanding there. But if, right now we can see some of the what we call that flawless of those kind of models there. But it's a good kind of try there. It's a good kind of I'm looking forward to see the new models there, right? Okay, like Kailan, all right. But if you may basically develop a bit kind of understanding from your traditional kind of drawing sketch first before you model, it's more better than Thailander, okay? Because we need that kind of understanding there before we model them. When we do model, okay, you just actually write, for example, right here, you want to go back into the lessons there, right? If I want to model, say, I'm going to basically, okay, this is something maybe it's not from the way that most of artists are doing that, okay? Because if people actually have built that kind of understanding, they just can model the whole thing spontaneously there, right? But if, let's just say you have this kind of reference with you, open up Photoshop, I'm going to go through back again. What basically I saw or some people see, okay, when they come there, this kind of works there, right? So it's basically from my illustration classes, right? This is basically from my illustration classes there. We have two different kinds of models there, right? Okay, this is the front view. Right? Copy paste. I'm going to go to like this one there, all right? And then let's just say, okay, we move into, okay, this is side profile there, right? Okay, or three-quarter view here. This is three-quarter view there, right? Okay. Now what I'm doing there, just kind of, this is, I want to show basically, right, how actually I saw all these kind of things there. And I turn into whatever I plan in my head, for example, there. Even though I kind of like spontaneously model them back, right? According to my understanding, using the tools that we have. Okay, now the side profile, how is it? All right, I'm going to put that. Okay, I'm going to more smaller there, so we can see how it works. Okay, now side profile there, guys. Okay, so of course you cannot see the center kind of guideline there, right? Okay, copy paste. The size will be kind of similar there. Okay, we have three different kind of, even though we need to do more there, okay, from here. Okay, when we model that, this is basically this, when you design the characters, for example, or you design any kind of subject matters that will apply from the to design something like cars, basically, right? Okay, or any kind of objects, okay, that represent basically the element itself, okay, that you want to draw, right? First of all, of course, you have to know what you want to draw there, okay? I'm starting with the characters there because it's basically the common kind of subjects that we need to understand there, okay? Some people also, okay, there's a few kind of number kind of people say there, okay? I cannot draw cartoon. I can only draw portrait, for example, or I can draw portrait, but I cannot draw cartoon directly. So that kind of things that basically is only about our mind there. So if you take a look at this kind of object that we have, okay, everything start with the circles there, okay, but how actually you modify them, extend them, okay, according to the needs for your to understand about your structures there at the same time. This is basically what we need to have, okay, in our mind, okay, to design the faces there, okay. So where basically the alignment of those, the center point of these faces there, okay. This is not face, okay. So a lot of people always thought, okay, draw human face from this side and then just don't know where actually want to go, okay. They try kind of doing this kind of things there in their drawings there, but it doesn't look like right. Why actually I'm saying that? Because the way that you develop the structures is not basically you create a foundation that you create an outline directly, a strokes that look like a finished kind of drawings there. Right? It has to be controlling the structure or controlling the brush stroke first, okay? When you sketch it out, you don't have to go into details there. When it comes to develop your kind of understanding to design human face. Right, this is basically a foundations kind of fundamental kind of methods of it works there. So if I'm using the, for example, the tools, okay, that we actually use to extend, like move tool, for example, right, or grab tools here, I always mix them with the Photoshop that I AI there. So when we kind of have this kind of understanding, what we can see from this side there, okay, the same thing. Okay? This is what I saw in my head, all right, when I actually try to model them. From here, from side profiles, same thing. See? Draw human face. Start with this kind of extended kind of shapes directly or form directly when you sculpt them. Let me actually write down first. Front view. This is sorry, right, 3/4 view there, right? And these are going to be the side profiles there. Okay. So from here, what we can see, okay, this is what actually we actually have planned if you don't sketch, but the understanding that we want to apply when we try to model them. Even though you cannot draw well there, guys, but a lot of 3D modeler outside there who basically not kind of a very have a very good kind of skill in drawing, but the understanding that they have from their observations there when they see this kind of models there, okay, they will give more kind of ideas where that you're going to what we call the extend or add or mold or sculpt basically the characters like or the model itself directly. So I'm going to start with the very basics directly here, as I actually have done before directly. Now, when you want to add some center line, a center point, okay, on those faces there, right? This is a center point, okay, but in 3D, it doesn't look like this. They're going to look like a curve a little bit there, okay? Why? Because from here, we can see the illusion of the whole structures as a form, not a shapes anymore. Okay, the whole structure as a form, not a shapes anymore. Okay, so they must be able to see. You must be able to see this kind of things that before you're going to draw. That's why fundamental kind of understanding is really important here. And I believe you guys have learned that right, okay, previously from the lessons there. Right now, when you create those kind of what we call that wired kind of steel kind of what we call characters directly or sculptures there, right? So those are basically the one of the way to train people to see things in 3 dimensionals there when you work on it. Okay, now where is the center point, okay, between the head and the faces there? Okay, basically this is basically the center point, I can see. I don't have to use rulers basically to guide us that to work on that, okay? So give a little bit kind of very simple kind of understanding like this one there. So the next thing is, of course, you want to measure basically between, this is basically the eyes, basically is a center point, okay, the eyes there, our eyes there, human eyes. From here, how actually you're going to divide between nose there, between eyes and also the bottom of the faces there, okay, which is the chin, right? Half of it are going to be the nose there areas. Okay, nose there, right? Half of this is the basics there, guys, okay, fundamentals there, okay, foundations there. But of course, human face from any directions there, okay, or the structures of human face is basically the alignments and the balance, the structures, all right, okay, were based on individual kind of structures there. Sometimes some of the nose of the place of the nose a bit more longer there, okay, but they still have remaining, right, okay, those kind of what we call that structures and alignment at the same time there, right, okay. They're going to be right, okay, between the nose, they're going to be nose, eyes, mouth there, or lips there, right, okay. Between nose and the chin are going to be the mouth there, not lips there, mouth there, right, okay. Sometimes people, we can see some people have a bit more longer kind of chin, okay. This is basically a mouth there, not a lips there. Lips different there. Lips are going to be a bit higher here, right? Higher. Lower lips and upper lips. Normally, lower lips is a bit more longer there, okay, or bigger or thicker there, okay, than the upper lips there. But depending on the skull of the human as an individuals there, it's going to be a bit kind of difference, okay, from individuals, but it can be there, okay? It can be developed, okay, or changed or improvised there, okay? If you actually write, this is like what the same thing that we've done, okay, that we do, okay, with our lessons there. If you guys just follow the guide, how come actually you're going to define each individual kind of face differently, right? So whatever that we do right now is a guideline for us there, the guideline, okay? And then when you want to construct your own face, for example, to meet to the perfection or to your needs, okay, they have to be improvised a little bit there. That's why in design in life there has to be, I'm starting to work with the ears there, okay, are going to be need to be improvised there. This is only a guideline for us there, guys. Okay, now people always say where the eyebrow there, okay, the measurement of the eyebrow there, okay, depending there, okay, maybe half of it or maybe a few inches basically are going to be show the eyebrows there, right? Because why we need to know about the eyebrows there, even though I don't have those pictures there right now. Because the eyebrow indication between the ears and also the nose. All right, this is basically the eyebrow, and this kind of measurements here normally are going to be a part of those ears there. Okay, ears there, okay. Between eyebrow, this is eyes, nose there. But depending, okay, you can see some people have smaller little bit ears there, okay, but according to the structures, the basic human structures, this is basically the measurement there, right? Okay. So from here, of course, the center point for the 3/4 normally are going to be changed there, a bit kind of left or right there, okay? So right now, we're going to add those ears there, okay? See the jaw over here, there, right? This is basically the half, not the half of it, are going to be a part of those ears there. So eyebrows, ears could be right here. The shapes of the shape of the structures of the ears, not the what we call the detail of those ears there, but the basic kind of form, basic kind of shapes of ears there, right? Normally. Same goes to the head, okay? The center point they're going to be center point directly of the structures here. Either sometimes you can actually add those kind of shapes of ears over here. There. Right. What we call that we can actually add half of it, or we can actually add a little bit kind of a bit more longer to the back directly, depending directly, but this is basic directly. You see the balance itself there. So right now from side profiles, okay, you can see most of the easiest way to draw humans or to look at a human structure directly or faces directly is always rely on side profiles there. This is the eyebrow there, right? So this is the ear, this is the eyes. Basically, this is basically the nose. Triangle that shapes there, right? So came from side profiles. These are going to be those lips there. And this is going to be the, what you call it, the chin there, okay? And the alignments, the measurements, okay, of those between the nose and also the lips, or lower and upper lips, are going to be a little bit more diagonals there, right? Okay, like this, basically. Sometimes people actually can actually add more on the chin or right there, okay, to make pointed kind of chins there, depending there. Okay. So same goes to this one, okay. This is the curved line for the center point, and now this is the eyebrows, and this is going to be the nose there from this side. How to work with it in 3 dimensionals are going to be look like this. But when we models them, we can actually extend a little bit there, right? So we don't have to follow basically our drawings here. We can improvise from there. The lips. All right, we go through it this way, okay? Let's just say the nose, according to the size, depending the okay, on the size there, okay? But normally, they have one small circles and 2 in between there, okay? On the nose there. You want to draw the nose there, okay? This is basically the shapes of the nose from front view, and then you can actually extend a little bit and draw the nose shapes over there, and you can add some of the details there as well. This is basically the structure, the basic structures there, okay? The lip itself, okay, when you draw the lips there, it came from this side there. How to measure between lips and the eyes? Simple there. The alignment over here, sorry, there, of the nose. They define the shapes of the eyes here. The eyes shapes is look like the shapes of a fish normally, right? If you take a look, okay, the eyes shapes there, okay, beside from the left side, they're going to be look like a fish there, the shapes of it. Not like this. Some people draw like this one there, right? Some people draw a bit more like this. I don't know how actually people draw the, maybe the characters, yes, okay, a robot, okay, but human characters, right? Human kind of shapes of eyes, they can do a bit more like a fish there, okay. If you have small eyes, big eyes, okay, the same, okay, the shapes are going to be the same there, right? What we can do, okay, for designing the pupil and also the iris of the eyes, they're going to be kind of like 3/4 or half of it, okay, of those shapes are going to be inside our socket there, right? And then we can actually draw those, or we call that the iris inside there, okay? So this is basically the basic foundations of faces before we're going to model them. When you actually have this kind of understanding, when you draw, when you model therapy, it's more than enough for you to experience more better kind of modeling, or your experience to create your own kind of models later, right? You have the guideline that works there, right? So same goes to this one there, right? You need to draw the shape first. Okay, the eyebrows a bit more like this, the side there, right? And this one there, right? And what else? Okay, the lips, okay, be in between the lips there, okay, in this side, okay, it has another kind of, this is the pupil, for example, there, okay, and half of the eyes are going to be the end point of the lips, yeah, and then the lower lips are going to be follow basically the lower lips kind of, upper lips kind of alignment there, but a little bit more bigger there, okay, with a longer little bit, okay, on the lips there. This is the basic foundation there, because based from what you actually can produce from here, we can actually improvise. You also have to be improvised with the skull step, okay, the skulls, the shapes there, okay, to make it more better kind of what we call that face kind of structures there at the same time there. From here, it's right, okay, you can see right, okay, if you look at a lot of what we call that Stone Age, basically, okay, kind of what we call that human being there. It'll be some of the theories that, for me, I'm not believe there were, okay, human kind of skull or faces or heritage, or maybe the connection between apes and also human, okay, they have this certain kind of what we call that connections there. But what I actually believe and read, basically, okay, there's a few millions of years, okay, thousands of years before man, basically, there's a creatures that look like a man, but is more into apes there, okay, have as a living in the world there. So this is basically what I've read there, okay. So what I can do from here, right, when we see, okay, like modern kind of men, of course, normally we have a very oval kind of head there. Okay. So to make it more proper of the modern man there, okay. That's why we maybe, because we actually really smart enough than the previous kind of creatures there. So what we can do from here, the same, is start to extend basically the head there, okay. And of course, this side basically, okay, this is basically the structures of the head. It's not this one. This one we can actually write it just a little bit, and then we start to create the neck there, right? The basics understanding about neck from the cylinders there. We can actually extend basically the model itself there, right? Okay, from here. Same goes to this one. The neck is going to be the skull there. Right? And of course, you don't have to become a doctor there, guys, or to learn medicals there, to learn about this kind of anatomies here. In art, also, you can learn it, okay? So now, what else we can do, okay? Because all this kind of knowledge basically will go into all different kind of discipline there. When you want to design any characters there, cartoon characters, game characters there, okay? Creatures there, okay? The understanding on the basic anatomies will give you more advantage to design your kind of characters there, right? You're talking about characters there. The same goes to this one, right? The neck are going to be not too big there, okay? This is only what we can actually extend, okay? You can actually design superhuman kind of characters that have a bigger kind of neck, but normal there, okay, kind of necks is a bit kind of like not straight, a bit kind of diagonal a bit there, to create those kind of understanding on the human structures there. But of course, this is basically more like a man than a woman. Maybe women are going to be a bit more smaller kind of necks there, right? So be careful with it when you draw women or men. They're going to be different there, okay? And of course, the neck basically is not straight there, okay? If you take a look at your neck also, okay, just the basic structures of neck, a bit kind of to the left or to the right here, okay, from the side here. Right? So from here, okay, if I want to give a bit kind of understanding on the structure of the skulls there, right? Obviously we can see this is basically the skulls there, okay, of the human face. Right. This is basically some of the understanding that we can actually add a bit kind of value from here, right? The skulls that form basically the face. All right. This is basically what we have. So if you can actually write, if you have the ability to have this kind of understanding there, there's an advantage for you to draw. That's why when you draw skulls there, it's basically the nose area there, right? All this kind of understanding will give you more advantage to, okay, create your creations there. Same goes to these areas. Okay, we have a cheekbone there. Okay, cheek, right? When you draw them, you can imagine basically how to design the structures of the skulls here. This is basically the areas of those, right? Skeletons, skull, the human skull. And this is going to be basically your trachea, right? And also the backbone there, right? From this side, also the same thing. Okay, I want to remind you guys, okay, from side profiles, this side and this side has a little bit more difference there, right? To draw the shapes of the faces there. Same goes to this one there, okay? For those who actually have that kind of not so-called understanding on how to develop basically your models there, okay? Especially when you draw human, right? So I give you guys some of the things that I saw, that we basically saw before we draw there, okay? And of course, the measurement with two eyes, basically there is one eye over here, right? One eye over here to measure, right, between two eyes there, right? So all these kind of things is really important to understand before you're going to model them, right? Okay, from this side, sorry there guys. From this side, very similar, okay? How actually we're going to incorporate the eyes, okay, look a bit more three-dimensional, okay? If you have to understand, this is basically your eyeball there, right? Okay. So this is basically the alignment that show the illusion of three-dimension of your eyes there. So the nose itself, when you draw from this side, right? This is the first shapes, the first kind of circles, and the third circles are going to be a bit more smaller, right? And then you can actually, right, add some details there. Okay, this one I didn't draw just now, right? Okay, the shapes of it. Draw the nose there. The form of those structures of those circles will develop that kind of understanding. I saw some students draw like this one there, right? Nose. A lot of students there who doesn't have understand. If you design a characters, yes. When I design some of the characters, I draw this kind of nose there. It can be. Huh? But if you want to study basically human structures, right? Because let's just say you like anime, manga kind of stuff there, right? Okay. The understanding of the human structures when you draw them will give you advantage to draw your anime characters later on. Because all anime or manga kind of creators there, okay, they have a very good understanding to draw human figures. That's why you can actually see the design is quite very unique there. I saw a lot of students, sometimes they kind of want to draw like that, but the level of understanding were not there. Okay, they draw the ears, okay, the shapes of the ears, okay, from the side. This is something that I can really suggest. Okay, that's a lot of depending on the on the on the design itself. Okay, every design has a different kind of feels there. Okay, from here, side profiles there, right? Shapes of the nose. This is the big circles there, and this basically those. Form of the nose that defend, okay, that form from there, the lips, and those chin there, right? So the ears over here, okay, before that, right, the basic structures of the skull there, right? Okay, normally from here, they're going to be a bit kind of going to be like that. So this is the eyes there, right? In between the eyes, okay, this is the nose there basically. The shapes of the eyes is not like from side profile, we're not going to be look like this, right? Straight there, right? Okay, no, a bit kind of diagonal there, right? Okay? And then this is basically the shapes of the eyes there. from side profile there. And this is the eyes. And these are going to be your eyebrow there. And the shapes of the ears there, okay? This is the ears kind of hole there, right? So if you have this kind of understanding, right, easy for you to develop back again basically your models there according to what you want, okay? Because you have that kind of ability to understand right, okay? To understand about all these kind of situations there, this kind of situation of understanding there back again, okay? Even though okay, there's a thing for me can be improved a bit, right, on the accuracies there, but I think I just want to recap back again, or maybe if you have learned before, okay, just to recap back again what you basically will need to develop those understanding, okay, from what I saw from like Pang, Harsh, okay, and also Mariam then, right, and also a few of you guys who actually have done the first kind of modeling there, okay, faces modeling there, okay, even though you have your own kind of very high expectations to go beyond what you want there, okay, this is normal thing happen when we learn new things there, but look into this kind of fundamentals there first before you want to model them, right? Okay, what, because when we have this kind of understanding here, okay, so when it comes to develop back again, you have in mind there right now where you want to go, where you want to move, all right? And all right, when you're using the tool, it's a matter of change the size, all right? Slowly, see in 3 dimensionals there, right? And then you can start to develop back again your kind of way of working back again here. You not just simply draw or model or sculpt there, okay, without have understanding here right now. You will see in a more different way there, guys, right? For those like Teresa who have that skills there, both traditionally there, okay, so the way that she saw basically spontaneously maybe there, okay, the same thing that I actually have shown you guys right just now, okay, you know basically what you want right now, okay, you will see, okay, this is something that I want, okay, I can actually look at things more clear there, okay. That's why a lot of people always fascinate, okay, to work with 3D modeling. Okay, I have a few number of friends, okay, when I actually jump into the real work there, okay, I saw different kind of type of people there, okay, who actually work with the applications, whether they have the great kind of knowledge they bring together with their works. And we're talking about when you modeling them, right, okay, it's not like you just simply moving around the characters or the model itself, right? But you kind of give yourself more kind of time there, okay, to understand the rules, methods there. And when you model them back, okay, you're not actually just simply model without having your own kind of understanding. We're talking about develop your understanding here. Okay, let's check the size back again. And then take a look there, okay, whether basically you can actually get the right kind of understanding or not there. But I would say that the skills or the tools of understanding you have, but how actually you're going to combine with your knowledge that you have in mind, and then you bring into your works, it's not the things there. It's not the questions there, right? Yeah, you need to answer along the way, right? the practical, the logic directly about your kind of your own understanding to develop those models there, your sculptures there, right? Okay, now the ears there, where is it you want to put those ears there? Let's just say this is basically right, the nose, the eyes there. It may be right here. Check back again whether it's right or not, okay? Is the center point or not, okay? Maybe change a bit more to at the back there, right? It's the size and move back again. Slowly there, okay? Make mistakes and actually control Z there. Right. Of course, the basics of the ears there, top a little bit more bigger than the lower there, and a bit more diagonal there, right, at the same time. So slowly work on that. Don't be afraid there, right, okay? Change back again. So give you guys time to understand the right, okay? Exploration is good, but how actually you work it nicely, improve your kind of understanding there at the same time, give you guys time there to see, okay, what are the flawless of, what are the mistakes that I done from here, right? This part, okay, this curved line, okay, is a bit more like not being formed really well there. So when you put into this side, a bit kind of difference there. So change back, okay. All this kind of detailing that you give you guys a bit more kind of understanding there, okay, they will apply your kind of knowledge at the same time when you actually draw, okay, when you actually done this kind of job there, right, process there, you will give you guys time there, okay, more time for you to build up this kind of understanding there at the same time. Yeah. Take a look back again whether it's right or not. And then slowly, right, draw the right. I think it's a bit more low, more lower than this. So I can do side a bit. Then I'm going to move a little bit further here at front. Check back again. Because for those who actually can imagine okay, what they want, is no problem there. But the problem is for you guys who cannot actually imagine first okay, what you saw. You need to have a certain kind of understanding that you work with it. So by the same time, we kind of like let it flow there first. You don't expect that whatever that you're going to do as perfect as what you can see from other people's works there, right? Because everyone have their own kind of time to understand what they've learned here. Look easy for someone, okay, but not easy for us sometimes, right? Because of the gain of knowledge that you actually preserve is different. If everyone actually can have the equal kind of understanding there, basically it's not human there, right? It's a robot. Because we can program everyone actually can do the same thing that we want there, okay? And for us, okay, for example, what I'm saying, what I've shown, I just put into drive, right? And plug it into your head, for example, there, right? Okay, and then everyone can get the same knowledge that I am, and then can be equal there, okay? But it's not going to be happens like that. So it's a matter of experience that you're going to gain from there. If you take a look at how I actually model this one, okay, a bit kind of different than what I've showed basically, okay, on the previous kind of models there. Okay, so I kind of actually work also with the flows there, okay, of my kind of motions there, movements there when I do it, right? I'm not basically going to do the same kind of model at the same time there, right? I kind of give a little bit kind of time for me to explore different kind of way of constructing basically the face. Okay, so from here basically from the early achievement that you can actually get from what you've done there right now. Don't do it too rushed there, guys, because everything that we do right now, you've been given more than enough time there to work. Why you have to rush there, right? Not because how many that you explore for me directly, but how actually you can develop that kind of understanding there during the process of learning. How much experience that you gain from there. Okay. You say that okay, almost the same. It's almost the same there, right? Look back again to your model, each of you guys there, okay? Are you being achieved for what you do there, right? Or not? When it comes to work there, okay, in the futures there, okay, I'm going to add some details there. Some of you guys have done the details there, okay, on the nose there. I just move around here and create the nose there, okay? Adjust the size a bit. Okay. If I go through with it like that, they become a different kind of guy there, right? Okay. So improvise the structures will give different kind of facial kind of individual kind of faces there. I just say I want to add a bit kind of bigger nose like that, a bit more cartoons. It's okay, right? It's like a pointed kind of nose there, right? Like despicable media kind of characters there. It can be there, right? Okay, yeah, extend a little bit there, right? More like a cartoon version there. For me, there, okay, whatever that we can think, maybe we want to develop the characters, then go ahead. Don't limit yourself to do one thing in your life there. Explore a bit more. The world that you have right now, especially online worlds, can give a lot of freedom for you to think, to develop your kind of understanding at the same time there, right? So don't limit yourself there. If you limit yourself, for example, right, I want to give a little bit kind of like different kind of right structures of faces there from these characters. They can do it as well. Right, the nose over here, the chin over here a bit more pointed there, same time, or I can actually move a bit there, that right. It's fun there, right? You just have fun there. Whatever that you have think, work on it. Here, add a bit kind of details on the skull there. This one, right? Right. So I have to go through back again. Change the size. Yeah. There. Let's change back again. These are the things that I believe that you don't actually explore a lot there yet. Right? You just really remain on what you think that is possible for you to work first, but you don't kind of explore more from there. You want to make the guy a bit more like furious there. And the skulls basically a bit more. Right. His skulls there. Between the eyebrows there. Can do a bit more like this. And I can actually give the structure a bit more thinner like that, right? There. And this one can be more bigger there, right? a bit more like an evil kind of business there. It can be. Oh, sorry there, right? This one, maybe I done a bit long. Change a bit there just now. Change that. See what we can do from here. So guys, okay, work on it there, guys. Okay, check back again what you can actually produce there from there. I love basically to work with a very different kind of structures of skull, okay, but basically can I love to explore the human kind of skulls, okay, because they give a bit kind of advantage there, okay, for us to see what are the possibility we can do from there, okay. We can actually appreciate, right, can you see, okay, can add some detail from there, smaller kind of size there, right. We can actually, right, give a bit kind of attention to, okay, on the anatomy itself there. That's why I love basically to work with the head skulls there first before going to go through with all this kind of detail of the bodies there, right? Okay, this is basically the thing that if you don't actually have the right kind of understanding right now to work on that, how are we going to add on the, how are we going to move on into another stage of the lessons there? And the lessons not actually even though we're actually going to be complete the whole thing in week 14, it doesn't mean you need to stop your kind of explorations after this. If you guys learn only to gain those marks, for me, it's going to be a very such a waste of time there, right? Because why? Because you just learn to complete the lessons, which not entirely basically we won't be able to complete, right? Okay, this is a lifelong learning kind of lessons there. But if we just actually relying on only for the marks, basically you will not actually gain and have the right kind of satisfactions there when you want to pursue yourself in creative kind of courses. Kind of like if you saw some of the Street Fighter characters here, they'll seem there, right? I kind of like that characters there, other than other characters, okay? Because they have a very, it's a human characters, but have a very kind of very good kind of skulls there, okay? Kind of features here. So you can see from there. So the whole structure is basically where we can see there, okay? You can take a look here right now that we actually have added some of the values on there. More kind of values there, right? But bring a little bit smaller directly and change a bit there, right? Okay. The size of those areas there. Then we can actually add more and more kind of values on those detail there. Slowly work on that there, guys. Okay, learn one step at a time there. Okay, learn one step at a time there, okay, to work with it. What I can actually add a little bit more from here. I can create a bit kind of details that I want there, okay, from that kind of one particular kind of structures of the neck. Right, there's an Adam apples there from the right. If we draw basically a guy there, right? Okay, now we can actually write on the head size, skull there. And there, right? So we can see basically those where it actually can go through with it. Okay, go from here. Always have that kind of way to detailing some of the things that we want there, right? Whatever that you have in mind normally, okay, when you draw, you actually can go through back again. One of the things that one of the criteria, okay, remember that guys, okay, when we start to files here, right, one of the criteria that we look into those evaluations, okay, is how refined that you have done, okay, with your models at the same time that, okay, so when you actually model them, all right, okay, it bit look like more like messy like this one, okay, like not half cooked, not half kind of model, because maybe this is the first time that, right? But if you, some of you guys who might think like, oh, I have done a few things like that, okay, I have shown basically my kind of explorations, okay, I can just submit them, okay. But from time to time, when you learn and more and develop this kind of what we call understanding while you practice them, right, okay, it just kind of like you cannot actually, right, just do it only one or two models there and you find that, okay, fine, I know it actually how you do it, and I just submit that, right, okay. You need also to give your time, okay, to see how more kind of detail that you can go from here that you want to achieve there, okay. Same goes to this one there, okay, that we actually have done a full model, basically like a zombie type of characters, right, before, and also this one there, right, okay, how far you can go from here, okay, that you want to achieve there, okay. What we want to see, obviously, the head and the full figures. When you draw the first time the head there, okay, and then you combine with the full figures there, or you can save another file there if you want to, there, right. And then let's say there, this one, you save the files back again, okay, this is model 2 full figures, and then you can actually just extend the models there, right. So we want to see how far you go from there, right. We have shown you guys how it works, and we have showed also some other progress from your friend, and take a look back again, like Harsh basically have the good kind of understanding on those drawings that first. She draw that first there, okay, and then she start to model them back, okay, according to the needs there. So we see the efforts there, okay, the efforts and the explorations that the student have done there, okay, to develop the skills at the same time. This is something, it's also a very good kind of exploration from the students there who learn basically how to work with the sculptures there, right? Okay. All right, guys. Can I see basically your kind of developments here? Who want to share the screen?
I can share screen.
Okay, good.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So this week I worked on the arms and then the legs,
Okay.
but I haven't worked on the feet yet.
Okay. How actually you work with the fingers there?
It was very complicated. You use the grab tool.
Okay.
So I grabbed like, so you form this part first, and then you just grab it out, and then you just shape it.
So that means you change the size there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. So play with the size also at the same time there, guys, okay, to work with it there. All right. So if you want to go through later on, okay, from this kind of detailing there, okay, it came also with you understanding how to draw the hands there. Okay, the logic how to draw the hand structures there, okay, guys. So that kind of thing will give you guys more kind of understanding when you model them. You not actually just draw the whole thing without knowing basically where you want to move and go from there, okay? So thank you there, right, Teresa?
Okay.
Any one of you guys who actually can share your screen, what you have been developed there, guys? Anyone? Thailand, do you do any kind of new kind of progressions?
I can't really share my screen right now. I'll put it in my progress report.
Okay, good. How about the rest of you guys there? Claire? Anyone there, okay? Mariam, you want to share your screen? It's okay there, right? Irfan there, right? What happened to you there, Irfan? You here there, right, Irfan? You messaged me last week that you want to show the progress.
Yes, can I post them in classroom?
Google Classroom there, okay? You don't want to share with us right here on screen? Irfan, can I see your face, Irfan, there, right, okay? Not because I want to dream of you later on there, but yeah, because you're not actually in the class again for quite some time there, okay, because of the, what we call that, the time zone itself there, right? At least you can, hey, anyone actually seen, you guys have seen each other before, is it?
Yes.
You've been in the same class lah before. Right. Okay, where is it? This is the lavender kind of folks there, right? And this is from, okay, I mixed up my week 10 and week 11 progress. This is my progress for the both weeks. Try out and actual. Yeah, good there, right? Okay. Hopefully we can see more kind of progressions detailing there, okay, on the model itself, the guy. All right, lavender. Okay.
Alright, I'll post week 11 later on.
Okay. This is from Chung Hui there, right? I might actually have go through with it. This is the last time there, okay? The model that you create there, okay? So hopefully we can see more from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 of you guys there. Oh, Claire just now has showed it, right? This lavender, or this is Claire just now. Right. So she start working with the head. I can't remember. It's a good strike. It's a good kind of exploration there, Tung Hui there, okay? Especially when you add some detailing on the nose and the lips there. Visual head, female or female, or maybe she-male there. Right. A bit of explorations there, right? But don't stop there directly. Explore a bit more there. So I'm going to put into on the brief, okay, for our video presentation. How is it, guys? Is it okay? All of you guys about the presentations, video presentations later on? Everyone
Must we
okay,
show
right?
our face?
Yeah, presentation,
Yeah,
there, right?
Can we
Yeah,
just
presentation, there,
our
right?
No,
voice?
because it's a bit of a hassle to edit.
Hustle to edit.
Because you need to record your screen and then you have to record yourself also. So there's like 2 videos that you have to put together.
Normally, when I'm using what software do you use there, right?
I haven't actually tried editing like that before.
Oh, normally we don't have to edit there, right? Because if you use a certain kind of applications, okay, for example, like any kind of applications that we have online here, there, okay, they collaborate your videos and your slide presentations together there, right? So those are the things that normally people do there. You don't have to, for example, like Zoom there, okay, you record your session on Zoom, right, okay, individually there, okay, on the sessions, right? They kind of appear both kind of what we call that screen together there. You don't have to edit them, okay? You don't have to edit them there. What I've done basically on my video presentation like this for you guys also, right? I didn't edit anything, okay? We don't have to do some introductions or whatever, okay? Just record them according to what we planned there. Yes, Thailand?
Because this is a team call. I mean, if we were to make a video with our face and the thing running at the same time in the background, I'm not sure how to do that.
Team basically they're going to be closer, right? They're going to close these kind of videos there. When I'm using Google Meet, they kind of combine together there, right? Have you used Google Meet before?
No.
Okay. Let me show you, okay? How actually I work with the Google Meet there. Okay, one of the things that I actually do it, okay, when I doing the Google Meet kind of sessions, if I have different kind of applications that I can actually give you guys later on, I can actually share later on. Okay, we have now 2 weeks that works, all right. Okay, let me check here. Okay. I'm using Google Classrooms. Okay, when I create Google Classrooms, this is one of the examples there. So let's just say that, okay, open up this one. Okay, I have my, okay, put one of my consultation room over here. Let's just say when you record, okay, when you open up your own sessions there, right? Okay. And then you guys can see my screen, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, if when I first open up Google Meet there, okay, sometimes, okay, the technically happens, okay, there is no recording sessions over here. So it's hard for us to demonstrate, right? So what you can do is just close them back. Return home, join back again, continue. For example, that, okay, if you use Google Meet later on, okay, you test it, right? And then join them back. And after that, check back again whether the record meeting over here is appear now, okay? If have, you can record the meetings. Before that, you present your screen like this. Okay. This is basically what your screen has presented there and what we can do from here. I just open up whatever that I want here, there, right? And you guys can see both of my screen, right? You guys can see my face at the same time with the model, right? With the sculptures, right?
No,
No,
it's covered.
it's covered.
Your
right?
face is covered by the
Okay.
sculptures.
Because when I record that normally in my YouTube directly, they kind of combine together there. How about this one there, right? So automatically
It's still covered.
covered there, right? But I think
Yeah.
okay, what I've done, okay, normally, okay, when I actually right, open up like that, it's one of Photoshop or whatever they done, right? Okay, the person actually right when I record them, this is what actually I have. Samples of my presentations. Of course, when I use Team, they kind of doesn't see my face there, okay, when I actually present. But this is happens when you have the recordings here. This is what I've done for the recording during the sessions. If I'm using Google Classroom Meet there. So kind of using the system, I'm going to be automatically guide. I'm going to be show the screen that I share. This is the thing that I didn't set, because I just leave it there and then just allow the screen to share and also the record. Okay, I click the button record, right? And then when the record button actually appear there, okay, they give the signal there, and I start to record my presentation like this one without any editing there. Okay, a very raw kind of what we call that way of I actually working with those kind of Google Meet kind of recording sessions here. So it's quite clear that I get the presentations here, the videos at the same time there. Right? So what I did basically for using the Google Meet recording is like this one there, okay? But different than when I'm using what we have here, like our sessions there, right? This one. You want to actually do some recording, modeling sessions there, right? It kind of doesn't have the faces there. These are the thing, right? Okay? They cover the whole thing, right? This is the, I don't know, okay? I didn't actually set basically, right? Explore basically the Google Meet there, what we call that Teams there, but what I've seen right now, even though I become a host, I cannot actually appear the videos there. I don't know why. Okay, this is from our sessions there, right? So you just hear my talking there, right? It's not my faces, okay, at the same time to see my reactions, right? When the recording actually has started. So different than the Google Meet, yes. But I will actually check back again whether we can actually do or other kind of applications that easy for you to access them. Okay. The other application that I use is OBS. This is also a pre-recording kind of what we call that applications there. It's a freeware. Right. But the problem is, yes, of course, okay, because yeah, within this MCO, I kind of also use or explore a different kind of tools there just to give the students a key kind of beneficial kind of way of working. Okay, but yeah, when I start recordings there, no camera kind of settings over here that I actually cannot see the right. But this is one of the what we call that application that I used earlier, because I did not actually have the internet access there, right? Okay, when I actually want to record my sessions there, because basically I just moved into the new house there, right? So I'm not expecting all these kind of situations happen, right? Like MCO there, right? COVID there, right? So when I actually try to apply basically the internet kind of connections, Wi-Fi there, okay, unified, okay, they say basically at that time there is no kind of port over here. There's not enough port. They want to add my kind of request. I have to wait. They don't know basically when basically they're going to add, right? Okay? So I kind of like, how is it going to do the work there, right? Because all the classes running there, right? So the best way basically I connected also with my phones at times, and then I just go through with the lessons there, because my phone also, okay, my Wi-Fi connections, okay, that I have is only around 10 gigs maximum there, okay. So if I want to make a connection on 10 gigs, okay, and then later on I have to add more kind of what we're waiting for another 2 weeks or 1 week or 7 days there, right, for them to top up back again my kind of what we call the hotspot there, right. But luckily I get another line there that have given me around 100 gigs there, okay, but phase by phase, okay. The I think DG the XOX black. So yeah, but just wait until another 2 months again. I have to wait another 2 months until I find out that kind of solutions there. So this is the thing that I use. But of course, guys, okay, if we cannot find that solutions, or you cannot actually get some kind of solutions like that, we're just recording your kind of presentation without your face. It's okay there, guys. Okay, I kind of flexible, okay, flexible with the situations here, but we still need to have that presentation, because yeah, we want to hear how actually you present it, right? Okay, your kind of lesson that we have been go through here. Okay, like Kylan say just now, okay, maybe in less than 10 minutes. Yes, okay, no problem there. All right, it's very simple kind of presentation, just to give you guys some experience to talk about your work. Okay, that's it. So this is something that I've done. Okay, I start recording, but some of the demonstrations that I did. Okay, if I don't want to talk a lot, I just want to show some demonstrations. I'm using this OBS directly, OBS kind of applications. Yeah, I just download them, and I never actually tried to start with streaming over here, because I have a few number kind of application that I use, like Google Meet, Teams there, just to accept with the student there, right? I kind of not explore more from there, but I'm just using the recording sessions just to have a demonstrations, okay? Not the time slap, guys. I didn't use time slap because I know time slap is not suitable for lessons there, right? Some people actually can actually adapt that kind of time, that kind of what we call that lessons, okay? But what I actually have seen, even though okay, we try to give step-by-step kind of understanding on the students kind of lessons, but yeah, there's a few as individuals, yes, we agree that okay, not all people can be treated equally there. So that's why as each individual has to respond and has to get a bit kind of more consultations, okay, outside from the sessions there, to give the kind of more kind of serving their needs in order to develop their skills. But we have to stay connected directly and communicate with each other, guys. Okay. All right. Any questions there so far, guys? Other than okay, we're going to. I have to remind back again. These my explorations there. Okay, for week 14 sessions, and I want to have a video presentations from our third assignment 3 there, right? Let me closely one first there, right? Okay, from our first assignment there, assignment 3, lesson. Okay, they were going to be around. Okay, I just put some very rough briefer. Okay, less than 10 minutes. Okay, of presentations there. This is my kind of general kind of what we call that reminder for me also there. Okay, so I can actually write down a little bit kind of brief like later on there. Okay. All right, guys. Any questions there so far?
So our videos will be shown to the class?
Yeah, during the class there, right? So that means we're going to have around how many of you guys there? 11 there, right? Okay. So we're waiting for 11 kind of videos that we can actually show during the class there, right? Okay. So we don't have to basically just ask you guys back again, okay, like this one, okay, everyone want to share? No, okay, you guys can actually share your kind of link, for example, there. So you can put into your blogs. Okay, which one basically is more convenient for the videos presentation? That you want to add into your blogs and you share the link together, it's more safer there, okay? Or you want to put on your private YouTube there?
Private YouTube.
Private YouTube there, right? Okay, good. So we're kind of going to be in students private YouTube there, right? Which lecture can be accessed, okay? Right, during the session. Okay. And the other thing, guys, okay, if you don't mind, you can actually also email to me, okay, those videos. You know my email there, right? You all have my email, is it? You can email also, okay? Email to 75 Gmail. Or to this is Taylor's kind of email there. Taylor's.edu my. This is basically earlier kind of what we call that modifications on the brief from there. But hopefully it's not actually quite hassle for you to create them. All right. So because the only things that we can do, okay, we do whatever that we can, okay, just to use a minimal kind of applications, okay, to record our sessions here. But what I actually have explored before, okay, when I actually record in Google Meets, okay, I'm not actually worried about whether the session is going to be what we call that cannot be reached by the student or not, or we cannot see all the kind of virtual. As long as you just share the screen, record the sessions there, and the whole both kind of application, they're going to be automatically can be doing a separation, okay, between your recordings there, and then you can stop the recording, download that back again into your YouTube there, right? Okay, guys, any questions there so far? So the requirement is as simple there, guys, okay? Try to clean up back again your models there according to what we saw, okay? Don't just, what we call that, just simply model them, okay, without understanding the way to model that, okay, your kind of faces and your body, basically, like according to what you need there. Because remember one thing, whatever that you guys been working on, even though we kind of playing with the models itself, okay, but every single kind of sculpting kind of experience that you have done, please basically don't take for granted there, okay? See what are the possibilities that you can really add certain kind of details using the tools that we actually have introduced to you guys there, right? Those are the things that we want to see, the clean kind of models there, right? That show basically your pure kind of understanding during the process, right? And make sure you feel satisfied, even though there's always a room for us to improve, but you need to feel satisfied with the results at that time there. Okay, because the brain, our brain that we want to develop, okay, towards to the understandings as individuals, yes, they have a certain kind of limitations, each one of us there. But don't use that kind of excuses that you can actually practice that, right, okay, and do more research from there, all right, okay, to develop your kind of understanding. You're not learning only to pass or to get the grades or marks there, right? You learn basically to prepare yourself. You need to prepare yourself there, okay, to face the real world in the future, right? Even though you're not going to become a 3D artist or modeler, okay, but if you kind of going to be involved with the same industry in the future for your working fields there, right? At least you have the basic knowledge and understanding that you can guide people there later on. Guide people to work for you with your kind of small kind of contributions that you can see from that kind of understanding what you learn today or this time there, right? That's basically what I've done there, right? I'm not actually learning 3D or working with 3D because I want to become a 3D modeler there. I can teach, I can actually adapt it also to the project at the same time, right? All this kind of things there, right? So for example, like what I've done before, just want to give you guys some example there, okay? I'm not actually doing all these kind of models there, like these kind of characters there, right? But I design the characters for the projects, and I can lead people to model them, right? Because these all design basically, especially the characters, who came from my drawings. Okay, this is one of the characters kind of. This is kind of the animations project that we did for the government a few years back. I think around 2015, 2016 there, okay. That require me to handling the project with the team there. So this is one of the examples there. The same goes to this one there, okay. So we design the characters. I design the characters, okay. I always basically thought myself into we because we work at a company there, okay. But me actually, right, myself actually have the responsibility to lead the team. So I kind of okay, as a what we call that supervisor, for example, directly who lead the team or creative directors directly. So I have to come up with some ideas there. The idea that I came out, even though right, I can model, but I don't want to model them because we have the team, right? Okay? We pay basically people to work for us there. So I kind of design the characters, all the environment basically in drawings. Then all these kind of drawings that I actually have done for the modelers, for the animators there, they kind of use them back again to model them back. When we see that kind of ideas from that modeling, okay, when they actually start to do the works, we can actually give them some suggestions during the process. Oh, for example, like can I usually make the hands a bit more bigger or longer there, right? Okay, so those kind of things basically will give more kind of impact on your kind of working kind of experience, right? This character also the same thing, right? Okay, I design the characters there back again, and I ask my modeler to work there. But when we actually start with these kind of characters there, right, there has a certain kind of limitations there. Limitations, okay, without legs there, okay, how actually you're going to animate them, how you're going to explain to your animators there, okay. The understanding that we have, other than basic modeling understanding there, and characters kind of design and also animations will help you to communicate with your teams more better, okay, about the element and principle of animations when you animate those characters and acting, okay. There's more things that you guys will experience in the future, right? Okay, those kind of things. It's not just learning basically to just go through with the exam, right? But there's beyond that, okay? There's beyond basically what you learn here right now, okay? The knowledge that you have bring to your understanding here, that, okay, will give you self as an individual advantage, right? Advantage on your work in the future. There. Think about that. Okay, think about that, all right? So those are the things that happens there. This is some of the earliest kind of animations that we did basically in the companies. But where is it? But this is not 6 years ago. It's basically around 2003, 2004 kind of project. Okay.
So you're not sharing your screen.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Okay. We go back again. No, sharing the screen just not okay. This is one of the earliest. This is not the earliest. Like this is some of the things that we've done before. Okay, as a modelers, right? Okay, as an animators there, as a company, okay, to create this kind of design there. All right, design there, right? So what basically I did is basically in these projects, because when we have that kind of understanding on the modeling, okay, on 3D modeling and character design specifically there, so easy for you guys to guide your animators and your modelers or your teams later on, right? So that's why we need to learn all these kind of skills there, right? To use those applications, because not because you want to become a modelist only there, okay, or a certain kind of people who are actually going to be responsible to the project, right? Okay? But if you think that you want to become, you want to manage people there, if you have that kind of understanding that, okay, how to work with the 3D kind of compositions or 3D kind of modeling, okay, easy for you to guide people later on there. Remember one thing, guys, okay, when you work with people there, with a team itself, okay, there's a few number kind of people will have a very kind of attitude there they will give to you guys there, right? So if you don't actually understand what you're talking about, for example, okay, what are your kind of visions there? People who actually knowing more better than you, maybe they're going to be kids or some of the work, okay? They said, okay, oh, we cannot do all this kind of stuff because it's quite hard, okay? But you believe that it can. And you have that kind of understanding, even though you're not doing this kind of works anymore, okay? But you believe it can be done, okay? So you can talk back again to your team. I believe this thing can be worked there. I've seen before, I have done before, okay? It doesn't mean that I have to sit in your desk and doing the same kind of work there, right? For me, it's a simple, okay? We paid you guys to work on this kind of thing there. It doesn't mean that I have to go through also the same thing, because this is basically my responsibility to tell you guys to follow exactly what I need. This is my visions for the companies there, for example, there, okay? And I want you guys to go through all this kind of stuff, because we are not doing only for us there. We're doing for the companies there. And our paychecks is relying at with this kind of project, for example, there, guys. So as a team leaders there, you need to understand your own visions, okay, on the project. It's not your own there, okay? It's a company kind of visions there. It's relying that your decision that you made is relying on everyone going to relying on that, right? Okay? So that kind of knowledge that I have will bring into that kind of understanding. I design the characters in papers there, in Photoshop there, in Flash, for example, okay, all these kind of characters there. Then when I have that kind of knowledge, I'll bring back into the team, and the team has to model for us there, right? All these kind of things will can actually give you more advantage there. That's why you learn all this kind of stuff there, right? So right now, basically, hopefully, this is something that I want to give you guys what you might going to be faced in the future there. right? Your life not going to be end up into working only 3D sculptures or any kind of applications there, okay, or having basically the result, the group result only, okay, to achieve your kind of needs for your CGPA, for example, to graduate there. This is something that you prepare yourself in the futures if you're going to go to with this kind of industry. Okay? Remember, guys, if you say, I don't want to go into this industry, then yes. But how about entertainment industry that day? Other than selling goods, other than educations there, other than politician, for example, okay, or business construction there, right, okay, or forex, for example, there, okay. Entertainment business is a part of it. Everyone need entertainment there. Right? There's no such thing that people doesn't like entertainment there, right? But in that kind of particular kind of situations or industry kind of needs there, there's a lot of people involved in one single kind of project there. So you choose where you want to be. You don't want to become a modelist, you can become animators there, right? You don't want to become animators, you can become a designer there. If you don't become all this kind of part, you don't want to get involved in that kind of process there, okay? Because you know that you can do it, but you want to go more higher kind of levels there. You put yourself later on in the future, right? As a supervisors, as a project managers, or account management, right? Okay? Depending, okay? But when you involve with attainments, you already know, right, what are your kind of co-workers, your staff should be done to develop your kind of achievement, your kind of target achievement there. So all this kind of stuff will give you guys more kind of advantage there if you understand how it works there, right? So this is some of the things that I've done with the team, not by myself. Okay, not by myself there, okay. But because I lead the projects there, I design the characters there, I come up with some ideas and the concept itself, and I kind of team up with my script writers, storytellers there, and also 3D modelers, project managers there, right? And also some visual effect kind of people that to work with this one particular project there. Even though I bring over my administration at the same time when I do some of the meetings there, okay, previously for the work there. Right? This is something that will help you guys, okay? I'm not saying that we have to do the whole thing, okay, entirely by myself or by myself there, okay? So this is one of the projects is early around, I think around 2005, 3, 4, and 5, okay, that we did in the early stage there, okay. This is not a very successful kind of project there, but this is more like the R&D kind of project that we did before. Okay, so we kind of like experiment with all these kind of modelings, the character design there, right? Okay. I remember I spent more than 3 to 4 months to design one single character there, okay, because this is basically the first, it's a second attempt of I'm working with the 3D people at a time, okay, even though I'm knowing the modeling there, okay, but we have more team for us to model for us, okay, but we kind of actually have a lot of challenges there, right, to make sure that whether these characters or that characters should actually have apply on our projects or not directly. So this is something that actually, right, that we actually have done before, but for me, okay, when I actually designed these characters there, right, I kind of like, if they use the earlier kind of design that I actually produced before, so this project a little bit more are going to be a little bit more fun and practical for us to proceed there, right? We're talking about when 3D modeling and 3D kind of animations kind of project, okay? All the scenes that we create, okay, especially of the scene, okay, they take sometimes 2 weeks there to render there, 2 weeks to render for a few minutes at a time. So even though it looks not similar to what you've seen before from Final Fantasies or any kind of PUBG kind of animations there, right, or characters kind of modeling there, okay? But this is a very early stage that we actually explore this kind of 3D applications there, right? But there's more from here that you guys learn there, okay? So be patient. You guys still young and develop from time to time there, okay? And don't jeopardize your time right here. Get a full use of your kind of situation that you have to explore more from there, okay? To explore more from here, okay? So the worlds basically are going to be very exciting if you really push yourself into the position that you want to pursue in this creative industry. But nowadays, There's no such thing that you cannot work also in a small group of people that you trust to develop your kind of projects and build up basically your careers at the same time. But depending, it's your choice there, okay? And you guys with diploma there, okay? Later on you go to degree there, right? So think about where you want to go from here, what you want to do later on, okay? Plan ahead, right? I always tell my kids also the same thing, all right? I always tell my kids, okay, they have their own phones, they have their own kind of device there, okay? I teach a few kind of things that with them, but even though they actually still need the school there, okay, I always talk to them, okay, use the situation that we have right now, okay? Either you play games, you enjoy yourself watching Netflix there, okay? You watch that Queen of Gambit, for example, there, okay? All the seasons there, and you watch some of the movies also there, okay? But knowing also what you want from that kind of particular kind of things that you've done there, okay? When you play games there, Dota, PUBG there, okay? Any kind of games there, okay? Like right now, what are the public games that you play right now? What are the public games you play right now there? Among Us? Right. I saw one of your friends just right before this actually tried to model Among Us there, right? Okay, a good kind of inspiration from there. And but plan ahead, okay? Put some notes on that, okay? What you want to do today, what you want to achieve for next semester, okay? Those are the things that will give you guys more driven kind of spirit there, okay, for you guys to see, okay. Every morning that you're actually waking up there, okay, you want to do this, you want to do this, okay, but be patient there. Be patient there, right? Okay. So those are the things that's been done. All right, guys. Any questions?
No.
No? All right. Hopefully, all these kind of sharing sessions, other than just doing some modelings there, right? Kind of career kind of path, okay, will help you to have more kind of directions there, guys, okay, about what you're going to achieve later on in the future there. Even though you might not understand right now, it's okay, right? We're recording the sessions there, right? In the futures, maybe later on, you want to go back into those kind of recording there, see that you might going to see a very clear kind of ideas there. Oh, this is the thing that I talking about to you guys earlier there, okay? And you might going to have that kind of clear visions later on to guide you guys. Same goes to me there, guys, when I was you guys there. We kind of have some sort of people actually have talked about our career path at the same time there. Okay, but the difference is, right, okay, in my times, there's a less kind of distractions. That means we don't have those internet connections all the time, right? But we kind of using those internet connections, yeah, to watch like a YouTube there, be there, okay, or watch some of the things that videos there, right? But nowadays, basically, there's more distractions there because a lot of things can be easily can get from on your screen, right? We kind of lay back a bit, right? Okay? Same goes to me, right? Okay? It's a normal thing there, but we have to know what we want, try to plan it more ahead. All right. Okay, guys, okay. If you don't have any questions there, check back again your modeling there. I'm going to wait for you guys to see those kind of development for this week. Yes, of course, if you ask me back again, check back again, okay, we have modeled two things there, head and also body there, okay? To try to add, sculpt a bit more kind of, find a bit more kind of modeling techniques, okay, when you want to model the body there, right, okay? You can also draw some of the characters like that you like most there. Like Among Us, very simple kind of characters, but what you can do from there, from that kind of characters, when you add a bit kind of hands, attached with those body itself there, go ahead there, right? But try to model, right? Try to get a very smooth, refined kind of model. Then just don't just stretch all these kind of models okay, without having the right kind of directions that work. Okay. All right, guys. If you don't have any questions, we hold back again our sessions here until next week. Hopefully, I can see more kind of progressions from there. Okay. And take care, you guys. Okay. Have a good kind of weekend. I think we have only a holiday one day there, okay, but It doesn't like feel like a holiday there, right? And be safe and do communicate with us, guys. Okay. If you think that you've been isolated and also been like kind of alone there, okay, same goes to us. Even though I have a kids there with me, my mom also at the other room there, okay, but we always feel kind of like to ourselves that, okay, a lot within these kind of situations. So thank you guys, okay, for having me today. And thank you also, Mr. Ernest Raki, to join us. And have a good evening. And thank you very much, Derek. Bye. Oh, yes, Irfan, we're looking for your progress. Right. I was worried, okay, because you've been in the class there, but if you not submit anything or you don't show any progress there, okay, we never know, okay, yeah, how much basically I can give from those 40% there. Those are the things I always worried, okay, about some of the students who doesn't actually respond, okay, especially responding on the visual itself, right? Okay. Okay, guys, thank you very much there. Have any questions, buzz me on WhatsApp there, right?
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everyone there, guys, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you,
welcome,
everyone.
guys.
Bye-bye. Have a nice
Okay, bye-bye,
weekend.
okay? See you guys, okay, next week.
Enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy your weekend, guys. Okay, bye. Take care.
Mr. Faisal, thank you very much. I see you next week. Bye-bye, girls.